Welcome to the CWC Podcast with your host, David Selby, Justin Reed, and Andy Horton.
We're live.
All right. Welcome to the CWC Podcast, the home for the latest news, rumors, and interviews around the sport of chuckwagon racing. I'm your host, David Selby. I've got my co-host here, Savannah Smith. And today's show is going to be packed with a lot to talk about. But first, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor for the show, Elite Nutrition. Elite Nutrition offers a vast array of nutritional supplements and feed products, primarily for livestock, but also for humans, aiming to optimize health and performance across various species. My contact from Elite Nutrition, his name is Chip Kohser, and he's going to be joining us later on the show to talk more about Elite Nutrition, what it can do for our equine and our canine friends. And we're going to see what they have in store for us this weekend at the Reggie Little Outlaw Race. They will be there with a vendor tent. So see the link in the description below to learn more about that.
That's exciting.
I'm here with Savannah today. We're going to be recapping the weekend at B&B Farms Chuckwagon Race in Bryant, Indiana. And you won't believe it, but it rained. It rained there this weekend. I know. First time this year. And speaking of weather, things are shaping up nicely, actually, for this weekend at the first annual Reggie Little Chuckwagon Race. And we're going to talk about that along with the race lineups at the end of the show. So stick around if you want to hear the race lineups. Later on the show, we're going to have guests from the Loretta Lynn's Chuckwagon Race to give us some important updates concerning the sanctioned September race that was postponed for March. And to wrap it up, we're going to have Chip Kohser from Elite Nutrition here to talk to us about their products and what we can find at their vendor tent this weekend in Mississippi. It's all coming up on the CWC Podcast. Yeah. So, how you doing today, Savannah?
Smith. I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. I got to hold a baby this morning. It was adorable.
Yeah, you did. You got.
I was afraid I was going to break it.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, he's a wiggle worm. Sonny James. I guess we're in week 4, so he'll be 4 weeks this Friday. And yeah, we had some company headshots we were doing for a local real estate company here in Nevada, Missouri this summer. This summer too, because it was hot. And yeah, Savannah ended up getting roped into holding the baby while we were mixing my wife Miranda into the photos because she works at this Curtis & Sons here in Nevada. And man, that was a good shoot. It took like probably an hour and a half or more to get through all of that, but we did it. And you're a great Nana, so appreciate that. You can babysit whenever you want. It's just 3 of them.
Look, at first he was so sweet and quiet, making these adorable little faces, and then it just went sour very quickly. I was like, oh, I don't know what to do.
Well, he expects to be fed, and so if you can't provide that, then he's going to yell at you until you come up with some kind of solution. And right now, that is very much Miranda most of the time, and he knows. Like, I think he just knows her smell, even because if I'm holding him, like, he'll start getting upset, even though I'm his dad. You respect me.
Like, yeah, but you don't have the goods. You don't have the goods, okay?
Yeah, and Miranda has the goods, and so she is able to provide, and he appreciates it. I appreciate it because, well, for multiple reasons, I appreciate what she's able to do, and it's pretty awesome having a little man again. We had about 3 days there after we had him, and we were like, I don't think we're gonna do anymore because that, birth sucks. And Miranda's right back on the hype train. She's like, I think we'll have a 4th, because maybe that would guarantee that she gets a second daughter.
So we're going to have second girl Selby coming in 2026. That's what I'm hearing.
That's what Miranda's, maybe. I don't know. I got to get through this year. So speaking of this year, big time up there at Bryant, Indiana this weekend. And I would say it met all my expectations. I was there last year. I know that you haven't gotten to go out there yet. I know I kind of pushed you off on just editing more this last weekend and being here, but
I was happy for a weekend at home.
Yeah, what were you doing this weekend? What'd you do?
Oh, I went to a concert with my parents. So my cousin Forrest is home for a couple months and he works on the road. So me, him, his parents, and my parents, and then his Aunt Susan, my Aunt Susan, his parents' sister. We all went to, sorry, that was a drawn out.
A lot of family went.
Yeah, lots of family, good time. We saw 38 Special in Kansas. I passed out 2 songs into 38 Special. Had to get wheeled over in a wheelchair to the medical tent.
Because you're
Gave me
drinking
lots of
too
water. No, I hadn't drank anything. Like, I had got up to go to the concession stand and handed Brian my freshly opened beer. By the time I got back from the medical center, he drank it all, and I was on water for the rest of the evening.
Well, it's been hot out. I mean, and we were getting rain up in Indiana, and down here, I don't think that we got a drop, like, in the time that I was gone, from like Thursday to Sunday.
Well, no, Saturday we had a little bit of sprinkle, because I remember it sprinkling a bit whenever I was hitting the road down to Rogers, but it didn't last long.
Well, I was up there this weekend with Todd Eldred, who is the uncle to Josh Spain, and he was kind of just my travel buddy. He'd been offering this year to go and just like attend a race and help out in any way he could. And I was like, man, as long as if I don't have to pay you, yeah. I mean, I love that kind of help. That's what I do. And he was on board. He was really, really great. Honestly, he picked up the camera and tracked the races, did a great job. We had a great time, good fellowship, talking all the way there and back. I mean, that's like a 10-hour drive, and I appreciated the company. And yeah, and now he's talking about like wanting to do more. And he said, hey, if you want me for Clinton, I'm there, man. I said, well, what do you, I don't want to pay you. I will probably pay you something if you're going to do it. But he is just a good guy. He loves to work, actually. And that's one thing he said out of his own mouth. He loves working, and we just had a really easygoing time. Good race. A nice turnout. I know that it's just been the story of the year with the rain. We're going to see rain everywhere we go, and I think that did not help their race. They had to postpone for a little bit on Friday evening, which Friday evening race, they're kind of testing the waters there. The turnout they probably would have wanted a little bit better turnout, but it wasn't anything like bad. But I feel like if they weren't getting rained on right there at the like 5 o'clock hour, and out there in Indiana, it's right where they're at. It's really flat. So like, if you're coming from anywhere around there, you can tell that this weather is kind of coming in and stuff. And it's that easy for somebody not to go. And then Saturday was a good turnout. A lot of Amish people. Gerald even would say, he's like, I think like 90% of the people are Amish, but maybe it is 90. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's quite 90%, but they have a lot of Amish there, and they're fun. They're a good time. Don't think that because they're Amish that they don't have a good time.
That's kind of what Todd was saying. I was so surprised. I didn't think this could happen.
I'm not going to sit here and bash the Amish and what, and I know that those Amish maybe don't speak for all the other Amish, but yeah, they have a good time up there, and the race was fun. So, again, I told Gerald Burkhalter, who puts the race on, I said, man, I really do believe that next year, I think that's going to be the year that they kind of see the shift. Operationally, they're doing the race well. They've kind of figured out a lot of the kinks, a lot of the little things that, maybe it takes 5 years to figure out, which this was their 5th annual. And they got to where they've got killer food vendors. They've got a good spot for the concerts. They're like their merch vendors and stuff and vendors. They were just a little bit up the beaten path, which they were trying that out this year. And I think that they want to bring that all to be back down more central with where everything's at near their arena next year. But yeah, I mean, everything is really central, and it's a race put on by a racer, and they do a good job. It's pleasant, and it is not as hot as here. I mean, yeah, we had some high humidity with the rain, and it was hot for some of that time, but it's not 95 to 100 like it is in Southwest Missouri and in Arkansas at this time of the year. So we were honestly, it was a pleasant trip. So excited to go back there again next year and keep building with those guys. Okay.
Yeah, from what Todd had to say, it sounded like a good time. He sounded like he had a blast.
Yeah, and then I guess the one notable thing for the races was they did have one, I guess, notable wreck, which we'll see if we get clearance to show this between now and like when we publish this, but they had a young lady, she's like 17-ish, beautiful tan horse, does the sprint for like just like the horse. I guess I don't know if it was the Outrider or if it was just like a horse race. I don't remember, but it was a sprint straight to the finish line, which their finish line kind of finishes on an elbow where you turn, and you would normally turn left and just resume out, on the track. But the way it all kind of happened was like the lead horse was kind of on the right-hand side and saw the opening at the elbow of the track where I think normally they would have the ambulance sitting or something. And that horse that was leading goes off to the right and takes that exit right there instead of being forced to turn left into the track. And I think that made the horse that was on the left that this girl was riding kind of think, I'm following that lead horse. And she was trying to go left. The horse wanted to go right. And so they ended up in the middle, which was where a big flatbed trailer was. And all within like a second or two, she's bailing. And the horse is kind of going to hit the front of the trailer, but then it's like, no, I'm going to jump over this whole trailer. And it did. And it was, and then it kind of took a dude out, and he gets like wiped out. And so he's like on the grass behind that trailer. The horse clears the trailer and runs off. The girl is okay. She kind of like hits some chairs and stuff, and everybody's okay. Thank goodness. And it was just one of those things that's like, man, what about safety? What about prevention? And, maybe they don't have that race. Maybe they don't have a sprint end right there. Maybe they change something on that next year. I actually, I can't help but believe that if they didn't have that opening, that exit, I think that the horses would have turned. And so, shoulda, coulda, woulda. When something like that happens, maybe you just feel completely obligated to go ahead and like, okay, let's figure out a different way to do the sprint. Or maybe the finish line it's just got to be a little bit earlier, because it wasn't like it was so obviously like stupidly too short for them to stop or turn. I don't think it was. I mean, they've been doing their race for a while, and that that was the only race that was a problem to my knowledge out of the 2 days that they raced. So, and even last year it was tighter than that. And they had some tough turns there, but they made it bigger this year for that turn. So anyways, I'm sure that they're going to be looking at that. Obviously that's not on me. I'm just giving my 2 cents. I'm kind of recapping it. And you've probably seen the video, but
I did. It was intense. That horse just narrowly clears the trailer, and you can see its back legs kind of hook the guy in the blue shirt and rake him right off the trailer with it. Yeah. Crazy. Crazy. Yep. Our guest is here.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, we'll get there very quickly here. I'll just wrap this up. Oh yeah, a couple of important announcements here. And then we're going to get, is that Anthony Brutto, Kim Mayo? Are they waiting in the waiting room?
It looks like it's just Kim so far.
Okay. Well, we'll give them a couple more minutes to make sure we get Anthony in there. And I will, yes. Waiting on Anthony. Okay, so couple quick updates here, just a little bit of stuff I want to push out. News-wise, we're about to turn the corner into August, which means National Championship Chuckwagon races right in front of us. Big stuff. Talking with Dapple the other day, she's like, we're still just waiting on race teams to call in. This is a problem they have every year. I think that people are so used to coming back. This will be the 40th annual, and you've got teams that they're like, yeah, we made the last 39. We're going to be there, Dapple. But people got to call in. So this is my PSA, like, call Dapple, call the furniture store. Let them know, if you haven't, that you're definitely coming. Because if they don't have confirmation, they can't send in their program. They can't give us the matchups so that we can make a big announcement. They need to know that stuff. So it's fully ready to go into their printed program. And then the audience knows what to expect up on the bluff or down the field as they're watching. So that leads me to those matchups. We have an important date we got to share with you guys. I've had a lot of people asking about it. It's Selection Sunday. It's one-of-a-kind show. We did this last year. That was the first time we did it. Everybody's been talking about it. Everybody's been bugging me about it. We're going to do it again this year. We're going to do it bigger. We're going to do it better. It's Sunday, August 17th. It's a week before we all get down there. It's that same weekend that camp cleanup's going on. We will have that show published that night at 6 p.m. And so we'll have about a 24-hour window to get the matchups from Dapple, and then we're going to do the show. We'll be ready to go. We're going to get that thing polished up, published at 6 p.m. It will be on the Chuckwagon channel alone. That's where it will be. It will be on the app. Download the app. If you want to go to the website, chuckwagonchannel.com, that's where we're going to have it. I'm really excited for that show. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be obviously reading off matchups, but we're also going to be giving our hot takes. Maybe we bring in a guest or two. We'll see. And we're going to talk about that stuff. We're going to talk about what we expect this year. I mean, we have been going to these races. We've been watching the teams race. And I know Savannah's got a team that's running the Classic on the tip of her tongue that she's excited to talk about. You want to say it?
Oh, of course, County Line Bunch.
Oh, yep.
I actually have some stickers in the process, so I do believe the next race we see them at, possibly Clinton, I'm going to have some stickers for my cooler.
They have made a believer out of Savannah. She believes. So
look, race teams, if you have apparel, stickers, anything, I will rep it for you. I got a cooler with lots of space.
Yep, she loves free stuff, and so do I. So
particularly stickers.
So anyways, put that on your calendars. It's a big deal. It's going to be a big time. I think it'll be, I think that's probably the show I look forward to the most on the year. So get your party ready. It's going to be like, probably as big as the Super Bowl at this point, I would think, at 6 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. We'll put that out there. And if it's not out there, let us know, because we probably screwed up and didn't pull a lever or push a button or something. All right. Let's get into it here. We've got our guests, first guests of the show. We've got more coming later, but representing the Loretta Lynn's Chuckwagon race that was postponed due to flooding back in March. It's been rescheduled for the weekend of September 12th through the 14th. Races on the 13th and 14th, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to get Anthony Brutto and Kim Mayo in here.
Welcome, Kim.
Oh, we've got Kim. Kim,
gorgeous today. Wow.
Oh, jeez.
I actually had to work today.
Oh, I tell David, which today is one of those anomalies, but I get so thankful for the podcast. It gives me a reason to dress up and look nice. I just failed today. You're taking my spot.
Oh, please. No, it's funny because I have to get on work Zoom calls all the time. And I will literally roll out of bed and brush my hair and throw on my just like a nice top. And then I'll put on I also have on my sleeping pants or something, or sleeping shorts. And yeah, I'll just go straight to it. I'm like, just don't look at me from my waist down. It's fine.
No, it's not even in view. You're good.
It's good.
I wear the exact same thing every day.
Yeah.
This shirt, this hat, this shirt. And sometimes a different variant of the shirt. Gray.
You sound like my husband. My husband always wears our Mayo's Heat and Air shirts. And he's all like, we go out to eat or something. I said, are you not going to change clothes? And he'd be like, look, if this is good enough for me to make a living in, this is good enough for me to go out and eat. And I'm like, can you please just dress one time, look nice?
He's advertising for you guys.
Yep.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Is Anthony still not, I guess, on?
Not yet.
Nope. Might just have to roll back.
Well, they're having motocross this week.
Mm.
And that's like the biggest event that they do.
Yeah.
So I know he's been, I was looking to make sure my message delivered. I know he's been going crazy this week because I texted him yesterday. I was like, are you not getting my messages? But
that's the story of texting with Anthony doesn't get back.
Yeah. Well, he said all good. It's just chaotic right now. This was yesterday.
Okay. Well.
And he's usually right at the time you tell him to do something. It's never early.
Yeah, we're at the top of the hour. This is when he's supposed to be here. You should tell him, you'd be like, hey, we got 12 people on here. You got a lot of people.
I'm texting him right now. I said, we're waiting on you.
Yeah, all of the racetrack owners are actually on this podcast waiting.
No. Yeah. You got to pay us.
No.
It's a panel of people.
Oh, you're saying, I was like, really? And he really needs to be on here for this because he's going to have, being that this is their event that's leading up into our race, he's going to be more detailed, because I'm like advocating for the Chuckwagon races and he's still trying to keep an open mind because of the trail ride and,
Sure.
So,
well, in the meantime, how have you been doing? What have you been up to?
man, we have been so busy. It's not even funny. So, which we have a heat and air company.
Oh, Anthony's here whenever you
Hi,
are ready.
Right. And so it's just been crazy busy. I mean, just, 115-degree heat index.
Are you coming to us from like the offices there at the front?
Yeah, I'm at the ranch office right now.
Okay.
It's
Right.
a little bit of a
Right.
madhouse. So my office is, if I turn to the camera a little, it's a little bit of a mess right now.
It's a printer with things. There we go. Can you hear us now, Kim? Sweet. Well, hey, if that does happen again, you know what to do. Cool. Well, let's kick it off here. Let's just go for it. We will try to keep this to a limited time today. We've got to get another person in today too. So just letting you know what's going on. So welcome everybody. We've got Anthony Brutto here. We've got Kim Mayo. These guys are representing obviously the Chuckwagon race from Loretta Lynn's Ranch over there in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. And we wanted to get them on now and get ahead of the ball because we've got some important updates coming on right now. As everybody may remember, they had flooding. They had some severe flooding down on the ranch in March. They were supposed to be first to bat this year. We were excited to get out there. And then lo and behold, they just get wiped out with water. So how's the ranch looking? Have you guys got everything back on the tracks? How's everything going over there?
Yeah, for sure. First I want to say I'm super glad that we made that call. It was a tough call for us to make. But I'm so glad we did make it because man, oh man, the water came and it was deep and it would not have been a good deal for anybody. That being said, the ranch is put back together. Right now we're hosting our Amateur National Motocross Championship, which is the largest event that we do. So we've probably got, 5,000 or 6,000 people out here on the property. So what you guys normally know as the Chuckwagon racing track is full of probably 800 RVs, primitive camping out there. And it is absolutely madhouse out here.
That's awesome, man. We might have to have you send us a photo so we can edit that in whenever you're talking right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Savannah. And I'm just giving Savannah more crap to do. So, but it'd be really cool to see some photos of that. But yeah, man, I know you guys are set up for motocross stuff out there, and I'm sure it's crazy. Have you guys had any more flooding this year? I know there's just been so much rain. Like, have you gotten hit with that again?
Yeah, absolutely. So this has been such a wild year. Our first two events that we had planned this year started off out of the gate with the Chuckwagon races. We decided to postpone that one because of the potential for flooding, and then it did flood, and then we went straight back into, all right, well, our first event's going to be our Middle Tennessee Dirt Riders Spring Dirt Bike Ride. And literally the week of the event, we had people here already camping, and we went down and told them they needed to move up to higher ground, and we were just bombarded with inches and inches of rain, and it actually flooded again. So we ended up canceling that event like Tuesday before the event was supposed to start on Thursday, and we postponed that one for a few weeks and got it in. But man, we've definitely been on the unfortunate side of the rain this year. We've spent somewhere between $30,000 and $40,000 on repairs to the ranch and the property just to make it to where it was basically where it was at before, and just a lot of repairs and a lot of damage. But it's back to what it was. So anybody that's coming, you probably won't even notice any differences. The biggest thing is we lost, I don't know, probably $4,000 or $5,000 worth of the horse panels right before the Chuckwagon races because we had some of those set up as well for the Chuckwagon. And other than that, it's been good. We've been blessed. Nobody was injured. Nobody was, there was no loss of life or anything like that. So, I'll take monetary loss and I'll take physical loss any day of the week. That's not a big deal to me. And it's unfortunate, but I take that any day of the week.
Well, statistically speaking, there's 100% chance there will be rain the weekend that we come back, because every single race this year there has been rain, and
Makes for good summers, though.
yeah, well, yeah, and we love that overcast light, and we love to see that mud flying, and it makes it fun. But holy cow, it has been a year for the books. I'm talking just nobody would have bet that we were going to get hit at literally every race, and that's what the story has been. So we're hoping that it dries up a little bit, and then like we're getting ready to go to one in Mississippi this weekend, and then it's on to the national championships before you guys. And those are the events that I'm usually kind of hoping there will be like a little reprieve, but this year I'm just like over it with the rain. I'd rather just have hot and sunny.
For sure. There's a Nashville TikToker that did a thing and showed that we in the Middle Tennessee area have gotten more rain than the Pacific Northwest this year.
Oh,
so.
Well, welcome to the new world.
Oregon, Tennessee.
No kidding. So let's talk about the stuff you guys need to push some news out, right? So coming up, we're looking 2 weeks post Clinton national championships. We're looking 2 weeks later. We're going to turn it back around. We're hoping that the fever breaks on the summer. We're going to head back up to Hurricane Mills. I know that you guys are doing some finagling on events, so let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure. So this will be probably the biggest change for, I think, everybody when it comes to this. After we had to postpone, we immediately got on the phone with the ACWRA. Me and Kim were spitballing some dates that could work in theory, and we ended up having to settle on a date that worked for both the ranch schedule, because we do quite a few events out here, as well as the ACWRA schedule. And we ended up coming back to this weekend that tailed our week-long horseback trail ride. It seemed to be the one that kind of just fit, and there was one other date that would have been really inconvenient for us and really inconvenient for the Chuckwagon racing schedule. And like I said, this one just seemed to work out. So what we ended up doing here at the ranch is we've shortened one of our events that's been going on for 42 years, and we've shortened it by a day to make room for the Chuckwagon race to fit at the end. Now, they're both horseback style events, wildly different groups of people, if you will. They just kind of a different breed of horse riders, but we did smash these two events together. I've got some of my stuff pulled up, so I'm sure you guys will see me looking off to the side just to make sure I don't get anything wrong here. The fall horseback trail ride is going to be the week leading up to the Chuckwagon races. That's going to be the 8th through the 11th of September. A lot of great stuff going on there. A lot of information for that event. You can check it all out on our website at lorettalynranch.net under the events tab. But for the Chuckwagon races is primarily what I'm going to think we need to put a focus on here. It's going to be the biggest change here is the early arrival on this, because if you arrive early, technically you're arriving at the end or inside of the other event we're doing, which we encourage people to come early if you would like to see what our week-long trail ride's about. We do feed everybody 3 meals a day. We have guided rides. We have a lot of activity and a lot of fun stuff going on. So if you want to just make a full week long of it, I kind of put the tagline along here: 2 great events, 1 unforgettable week. And that's truly what it can be. If you want to come out and enjoy a little bit of slower pace action and have some fun and leisure time, come check out the fall September trail ride, and then you can transition right into the ACWRA Chuckwagon racing, which will start on Friday the 12th this time. If you would like to come early, like I said, that's going to be the biggest change that you guys are going to see as the Chuckwagon racers and attendees. You are welcome to come early. We do have a tiered pricing for if you come on Thursday. So if you come before 1 o'clock on Thursday, it's going to be $80 a person, and you are welcome to come. That's going to include camping. That's going to include the trail ride activities for Thursday, but that is $80 a person plus tax. And like I said, that will include the 3 meals. We have a concert that night. We have a horsemanship contest. You get the guided trail ride, and you could do the 3 meals a day. If you come after 1 o'clock, I believe that drops to $50. And then what that's going to include is you're going to skip out on breakfast and lunch, and you'll miss that morning guided ride. We usually do have an afternoon guided ride. You are still welcome to go on that, but that does include your camping and everything as well. you would be able to do dinner that night with us, and you would still get the horsemanship contest and then the concert that night. And then if you want to come in the cheapest way possible, but come in early, Thursday after 7 p.m., we're going to be dropping that down to $30, and that will include just the concert and your one night of camping. And that's going to be per person as well. So that was the easiest way that I think we could make this work. Now, if you wanted to come any of the other days, we do have day rates that you can come. Like if you wanted to come on Wednesday, you just pay the event fee for Wednesday, Thursday, or if you wanted to come enjoy the full event for the ride before, pre-registration is $275 for per adult, and that does include your camping. You get 3 meals a day every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You get the activities and you get the guided rides and everything like that. So you're welcome to come all the way as early as Sunday night for our riders meeting and stay all week if you want. But the one that's going to be the tricky one is going to be the early arrival that Thursday. So definitely pay attention. We put out some information on it. I made another video separate from this podcast that kind of explains it a little bit better, a very abbreviated version of it. I know the big question we're going to get, though, is the racers, and me and Kim have worked very hard on trying to figure out how that's going to work for the racers and the Extreme Cowgirl competition contestants. And what we're going to do is kind of that same tiered pricing. If you want to come in and enjoy the event Thursday, you're welcome to do that. The biggest change for you guys is going to be if you come in early on that Thursday, all it will be is that $30 per person. And then if you're primitive camping with us for the Chuckwagon races, you would just pay the one-time fee of your $30 primitive camping charge on top of that early entry fee. And that
you're in the association. If you're in the association. Right.
Yes. Yeah. Well, all the racers would be in the association this way. So, but it's any of the ACWRA members. So if you come in early, you want to primitive camp
separate because I'm
camping.
It's a separate event. So
that's kind of the biggest thing. I think that I tried to skirt around that on the main video because I didn't want people to be like, oh, in the video you said this, So we really wanted to focus on that because I know a lot of the racers watch and listen to your podcast. So we wanted to kind of highlight some of the racer information. And I know Kim's got some stuff to say on it too.
And come in after
the sound coming from the racer perspective.
Yeah,
and just so everybody knows, Thursday night dinner is great. It's steak and potatoes night. You're getting a good dinner. It's not like we're gonna skimp out on you. You're getting a really good dinner. We're gonna have a band. There's gonna be dancing and just awards being given that night. So it's really kind of the biggest night of that event in terms of activities going on. So, for $30, there's a pretty good value for the $30 if you came in after that.
It seems like there's a lot of positive things to take from it. I mean, I know there's probably hesitation because you're trying to kind of overlap these two events, but man, I just see a lot of opportunity there. I mean, you say it's kind of the finale night for one event leading into another event. These two things can overlap because they're both equine events.
Yeah.
And it just seems like that might marry the two things really well. Is there a world where, if this goes well, that you guys could see in the future, maybe having your trail ride week go into a Chuckwagon racing?
For sure. I've kicked, and I've talked to Kim about this many times. I've kicked this idea around for many years, and I always kind of just stumbled on it because I'm like, I just am having a really hard time seeing how they're going to mesh together because of that transition period. And, circumstantially, it's just kind of, we're forced to do it this year. So I am genuinely curious to see. I feel like there's going to be a lot of the horseback trail riders that stay around for the Chuckwagon races that might not normally have came to the Chuckwagon races. So we might see an additional, couple hundred people at the races, which would be awesome. And then I'm hoping that we get a handful of people from the Chuckwagon races wanting to come and enjoy a week-long event leading into the Chuckwagon races. And then, at the end of the day, if this goes off well, I could see us doing this again in this fashion. The biggest challenge for us at the ranch, unfortunately, is horses poop and they pee everywhere. So it makes it really tough sometimes to do the events because after the horses leave, we pray for rain to help wash away the smell and the fly attraction. So if I can do 2 horseback events into one and make it, a horse-a-palooza, if you will, that would be ideal for us at the ranch. That would be a really awesome venture for us.
Yeah, I think it could potentially be the perfect storm, pun intended.
Yeah.
I would love to see this be a huge success. I mean, you look at what all these different tracks do, and everybody kind of has their things, things that make them out of the ordinary or special or unique. And I mean, the fact that you guys have that event going on and it's relevant to the people who are coming down there, probably bringing horses, ponies, mules, the likes of, I mean, I think it may work perfectly. So I hope, I'm crossing my fingers that there is some good overlap here. And I mean, what better opportunity to maybe get some more people into the sport and get them introduced to it. So yeah, I mean, if I don't know how you guys market or speak to that client base or that audience that does the trail riding, but man, if we can do anything to help you guys push any more information their way that maybe just gives them, hey, we're talking to you, this is what's happening at the end of the week, which I'm sure they've had to become aware in some form or fashion, but to give them that little spark, to think, oh man, we should stick around for at least one day of that.
For sure. We've had actually quite a few of our trail riders become Chuckwagon goers, and there's been a couple that I know that have raced or ridden out as an outrider for some of the teams. I think Chicken Legs is his name. He was a long-time trail rider with us, and he got into the Chuckwagon racing side of it. I know that Eddie and Crash, they were going to run a team this year. They're 2 of our trail bosses at the ride. So, I think that there is a really great opportunity, like you said, to transition some of these people into the Chuckwagon sport. It's really cool. And I think if you haven't seen it before and you are an equine person, obviously you're kind of missing out because it's a really cool thing. It's a great opportunity for that. So I'm hoping that we're going to have quite a few of those trail riders stick around, because the cool part about it is, because we're cutting Friday out, I'm not one to ever want to price gouge people. So we cut Friday out. So in turn, we cut the price backwards, and we made it, less costly for those trail ride people. So if you actually look at what you would cost to come to the Chuckwagon races right after the trail ride, mentally everybody was already prepared to pay for that week-long trail ride. So for about $50 or $75 more than what you were intending to spend already, you are going to be able to stay all weekend and do that Chuckwagon racing. So it is going to be just a little bit more expensive than what you were planning on paying, but the value that you're going to get out of that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday between the 2 rodeos, the 2 days of racing, the 2 additional nights of concerts, and just there's more vendors, there's more things going on that weekend. So, I mean, honestly, for $50, $75 more, you're getting, that's a huge upgrade for the trail ride people. And then if you are coming for the Chuckwagon racing, the way that I can kind of see it is, everybody rides their horses around anyway. So this gives you an opportunity to go on these guided rides, stretch the legs of your animals and get them out riding when you normally might not be doing that. But then you're also getting all the activity that we do throughout the week for that horseback trail ride. And that's also a really great value.
Well, I love it. I think it's going to be a good opportunity. If nothing else, we're going to learn something from it. So I think it's a good deal.
Or negative, something's going to come out of it.
I'm hoping that I'm optimistic that it's going to be that silver lining of having to postpone. So
Sure.
No, I thank you guys for coming on and sharing that information. I think that's all really good information. And I think it's something else to get excited about for people that are, going ahead and taking the time and making the trip. why not get just a little bit more out of it? And I'm thinking that's a good deal for a steak dinner and another night of camping.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Here's one thing I do want to highlight for everybody. Our biggest and weirdest thing is going to be the stalls. So if you are wanting to get stalls for the Chuckwagon races, go ahead and at least pre-book your stalls. Because if we have all of our horseback trail riders want to stay and they've bought the stalls, then we're going to run into a little bit of a stalls issue. So if you are coming to the Chuckwagon races and you do know you want stalls, at least go on there and get your stalls. Another thing that we're going to ask you is if you are planning on coming in on Thursday and are going to be coming in for that dinner night and stuff like that, we ask that you go ahead and please pre-purchase your Thursday pass so we can have an accurate count on the food that we're going to need. That's the two biggest asks from me is go ahead and book those two things at very minimum. Obviously, I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and book everything that you need to book while you're on there. Outside of the ACWRA members, you have to wait until you get to the gate to purchase your tickets to come to ACWRA races. Because you get the specialty rate, and we have to get that list from
We will also have them
the ACWRA. So
page as well.
that's just going to be a gate thing. But you can go ahead if you want water, electric. Go ahead and pre-book that. If you want to come in early, pre-book that. And if you want stalls, pre-book that. This is my warning to you. If you get here and there's no stalls, it's because everybody followed this rule and is pre-booked.
Yeah. We'll make sure that it gets out there. And I think everybody, this is good information, relevant stuff for everybody that plans on traveling. And the association has been traveling really well this year, so I would expect that this will be helpful. So
yeah, sure. And then from your end, if you have any video that we can tease out to these trail riders, that like I said, generally speaking, this ride's about 200 people. So it's a pretty significant sized week-long horseback ride, and that's 200 potential audience members that we can convert over into the Chuckwagon world.
Heck yeah, man. Well, we really appreciate you guys coming on, shedding some light on what's going on over there. Glad to hear the ranch is getting back into shape, and glad to hear you got a lot of people there this weekend. I'm sure that you're ready to get back out there and do some work. But
it's been a nice break to be in the air conditioning for a little bit.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's been that. If it's not raining, you're basically getting fried.
Yeah.
I bet y'all have hundreds of people in the creek, don't you?
Oh, there's thousands of people in the creek. There's probably right now. And
that's a good thing about this race being in September. If it's as warm as it is in Clinton, the creek's gonna be utilized as well.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yep, for sure.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming on. We've got to get off here and go to our next guest, but we really appreciate you guys coming on and spreading the word. I'm sure we'll talk to you again before we get to the middle of September. But in the meantime, keep cool and let us know if there's anything else we can do for you guys, all right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll shoot you over a few pictures of last year for motocross, so it'll be similar size.
Heck yeah.
All right,
guys.
Thanks.
We'll just hit leave, and we'll try to make sure that we get everything uploaded.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you guys. See you guys. Bye, Savannah.
Bye.
Okay.
I almost hit my own leave button, just like out of habit.
Chip just tried to call me. I'm going to call him back real quick. Yeah, so let me just back up here a little bit. Okay. Our second guest today is from Elite Nutrition. He's been telling me all about the products that they carry, how fired up they are to be at Glen, Mississippi this weekend for their first wagon race, from what I understand. And they're also going to be at Clinton this year for the national championships. So they are all in. Welcome to the CWC Podcast. Chip, how are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
So where are you coming to us from right now?
I am about halfway between Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania and Erie, Pennsylvania, right off the Ohio line in Pennsylvania.
Man, that's awesome. Well, I know that for our users, they probably haven't heard of Elite Nutrition. So this will be the first weekend. This will be the first time you guys have been to a wagon race, correct?
Correct.
Right on. And how did you come in contact?
One of our dealers, and I don't even know her last name, but we got a dealer down in Alabama, Scruggs Farm Supply, and a girl there that runs that store for us named Jennifer. she's into the wagon racing. That was what put my sales rep, Galen Cooper, down there onto the wagon races. And Galen's been chomping at the bit to get out to some ever since he got hooked up with Jennifer. And I watched them. I mean, I'm from Amish country. I'm at, and I'm used to seeing horses pull buggies down the road, but I ain't used to seeing galloping horses pull wagons around in circles. I can tell you that much. I think I was telling you the other day, I gotta believe a gated horse would smoke the doors off of them galloping horses, but I don't know if it was you or Trent that told me that the turns are too tight for the gated horses than what you guys do or whatever it was. But
Yeah, no, it's no joke. It's the real deal. And these are racers, these are animals that do this, throughout the year. I mean, this is, the event that you guys will be at this weekend is, it's a first time event there, but a lot of the people that will be there are part of what we call the Arkansas Chuckwagon Racing Association, and they run 10 races. They're running 10 races this year, and that doesn't include a handful of these what we call outlaw races, which is what Trent Little has this weekend. And so no, it's a really neat thing. And once you go to one, I mean, you'll kind of understand it, and it's hard to fully understand it until you go and see it with your own eyes. But yeah, we're excited for this weekend, and we've got a lot of fun things. Like we're gonna have a crew there, and we'll be capturing the thing. I'll be actually one of the two announcers, so that's a first time thing. It's kind of like a testing ground for some of this new stuff that we want to do, and it's going to be a good weekend. I'm really curious to know, for the people that are in the Chuckwagon racing community and beyond, I want to know a little bit more about your company and what can we expect, from an Elite Nutrition tent. And does that just contain Elite Nutrition? I know you guys are kind of broad on the different offerings that you guys have.
So what the company started back in 2011. Believe it or not, we're an Amish-owned company out of southern Indiana. Amish, in our neck of the woods, they tend to be some of the best horsemen they're around. We, in fact, have my boss bought Elite Nutrition off of another guy because he wanted one product that they were manufacturing, and he wanted to make sure he run out, and he went to buy a pallet of it, and the next thing you know, you owned the company. At that point in time, I think there was 3 different products. And shortly after that, he hired a nutritionist. We started developing new products, and then he started working with a gentleman named Adam Yoder up in northern Indiana that was a horse. He's the only Amish guy I know that has gotten a degree. He went to Colorado State for some kind of holistic healing voodoo magic that he does with pressure points and stuff like that. But we have a therapy barn up in northern Indiana where we treat problem horses. We normally about 100 horses are in there at a time, where, whether it's long-term problems. It's not somebody just coming because they have a lame horse. It's something that they've been struggling with for a long time, and we have a very good success rate there. And then we also have a training facility in northern Indiana where we break about 200 harness race horses a year. So that's kind of the background on the business. And then I came along, always in the ultimate things. We manufacture products and various in the fang dog world. We have a full human product line as well. Every time I do a meeting, there might be 70% of the hands go up in the air that have horses, and maybe 50% have dogs, but I've always gotten 100% attendance rating on everybody has humans at home. So we do have. So what's nice about that is our facility. We got an FDA inspected facility. We don't source different ingredients for us versus the animals, so we're using human grade quality ingredients in all of our animal products too, which increases your octane or your effectiveness, if you will. So if you look at our concentrations or our dosings, you use a lot less of ours versus other things that are on the market. But where we thrive is on specific problems, fixing specific issues with horses. There's a lot of people that are in the holistic market or the natural market, if you will, that they have that snake oil that's supposed to cure everything. And the reality is, if it cures everything, it ain't going to work. It's not going to do the trick. So we have a lot of products that are very specifically geared towards solving specific problems. One in particular Our rebalance, we developed that with the University of Kentucky and Florida State University to treat EPM. And we've treated thousands and thousands of horses. We can kill EPM in a horse, and we can actually bring their nerve tissue back. The rebalance is that product that does the killing part. So with that being said, because we have the therapy barn, we're able to do our own clinical trials on products as we develop them. So it's normally about a 3-year process before we release a new product to the market where we have the knowledge that we know it's going to work.
Oh man, that's awesome. And I was going to ask you, what are some of these like flagship products that you guys sell? And being that we're kind of talking to the Chuckwagon racing crowd, maybe more in that equine realm, what are maybe kind of your flagship products? And you said this all kind of started with horses for you guys. So,
It absolutely started with horses.
So what was that product, and is that still the main product today?
Well, we have, that's one of our best sellers because EPM is a product or a problem nationwide. Are you guys familiar with what EPM is?
No, let's explain.
So EPM is often called possum's disease too. It's where you got protozoa that gets into the spinal cord of a horse. It's probably the common problem in horses nationwide, whether we're in California, Texas, Kentucky, Ohio, whatever. But it's a protozoa that's, the technical term for it is it's a spirochete. But what it does is it bores into the spinal cord of the horse. And whenever that does so, then that horse, depending on where it's at in the spinal cord, it's either going to have to start developing gut issues, or what more frequently, it will lose its hind end. You could walk up to a horse and pull its tail and almost have the horse fall over. Traditionally, in veterinary medicine, they treat it with tetrazole forever and ever and ever. It masks the symptoms, but it doesn't kill the protozoa. So we're just basically treating symptoms instead of getting to the root cause. But so our rebalance is that kill product. That rebalance is going to take care of it, can kill that protozoa. But we have nerve damage still because we had a thing poured into our spinal for however long the horse that called rebound we use that actually regenerates the nerve tissue. So that horse will get its hind end back, or it will start functioning, it regenerates those nerves. The rebalance is also a great product that we're using it for treating anything you would use an antibiotic for. We can treat West Nile virus with it. We can treat tetanus or lockjaw with it. We can treat it. It works on viruses as well as, even just snotty noses, that type of thing. It's something you can use in lieu of an antibiotic that will also work on viruses, that does not have bacteria resistance. So you can use it as a preventative too, and don't need a script, and it has a 2-year shelf life that doesn't need refrigerated. It's a pretty amazing product. So that product was developed specifically for EPM, and it's one of those things we find a number of other uses for the products we develop. But it boils down to the healthiness of a horse boils down to 2 things: gut health and blood flow. If we got a good, healthy gut and good bacteria in the gut that are doing their job to digest the food that the horses are eating, and we got blood flow going to all the extremities, those are going to take care of 90% of your issues with a horse. More often than not, if I'm asked to diagnose a problem on a horse, the first thing I do is put my hand above the knee and then below the knee. If there's a significant drop in temperature below the knee, that tells me there's not enough blood flow going to that horse's feet, and that's why they're having lameness issues. That's what blood flow creates a lot of our other issues. And the way I equate is, imagine if you were sitting down for 2 hours at a time, and and then stood up, all of a sudden your feet are going to be pins and needles. Whenever your horse doesn't get blood flow going to its feet, that's what you're asking it to do, pulling a wagon around a ring, where, you know what I mean? It doesn't have that thing. So a lot of our maintenance product for it, dolphin, but we don't, our daily clean general, our plus, our Super Bowl, or our next, or just our Super Blend is going to be more of a high octane for performing horses. Then we also, of history is
Real quick, you kind of cut out on me there. So back up just on that last kind of, I guess that's last stanza that you put out there. I think maybe you mentioned a couple of products there, or maybe a product. I didn't quite catch it though. What were you explaining there?
Okay. So our maintenance products, our Horse Plus would be a maintenance top dress that's going to help. It's got probiotics, vitamins and minerals, digestive enzymes, proteins and fats, all in one top dress. Top dress, it is a mineral. You don't want to use it free choice because but it's going to help increase that blood flow. We also have a product called Super Blend that is more for performance horses, the high octane horses. It's going to increase the red blood cell count in the horse to get more oxygen flowing to the muscles to help that horse recover quicker and stay cooler. That's our Super Blend. But then we also have products, we have a product called FC Advance. Most of the country is selenium deficient. Pretty much everything east of the Mississippi is selenium deficient, and so is a lot of your western states too. Selenium is one of those number one things as far as making sure you have good blood flow. So a lot of times we'll use that FC Advance leading up to an event.
Yeah, pick up on. So you were saying selenium is such an important thing with blood flow, and pick up there again.
Yeah, so pretty much every state east of the Mississippi is selenium deficient as far as natural availability to it, and many of your western states are. Selenium is very vital to getting that blood flow going, increasing that red blood cell count. So what we do, we have that product, that's the Advance. A lot of times when we're treating a horse for lameness, or we're treating a horse for EPM, or maybe if we got a mare that is in foal and we want to make sure she has enough milk after she foals, that making sure that horse has good blood flow is going to be vital. So we use that SC Advance almost as an accelerator for the other products we use to help it work faster, especially in performance situations or where we have a timeline where we've got to get this horse ready for a certain event or whatever it is that's going on. Like I said, blood flow and gut health are the two most important things when we're talking about horses' overall health. One of the other things that we deal with a lot of different horse events, and I'm sure you guys are the same, is gut health, because you guys are shipping your horses all up and down the road. You're asking them to perform and you're taking them to strange. That's very stressful on a horse. We have a product called GI Equalizer that is the strongest probiotic on the market. It comes in a handy dandy tube. It's a paste. You just shoot it right down their throat. It helps settle their stomach for that travel stress, any kind of off-feed situations. It will reset and heal some minor ulcers. But then we do have a product for bleeding ulcers too. It's a 30-day process because bleeding ulcers are not easy to get rid of, but our Gastro Recover, at the end of that 30 days, it will actually heal the stomach lining, not just mask the pain and make the ulcer feel better. It will actually heal the stomach lining of the stomach and make that ulcer completely go away. Now, that does not mean that you continue to do the same things to that horse that may have caused the ulcer in the first place, because feeding programs and stress, there's a lot of variables that go into ulcers. When I used to work at the thoroughbred, I used to have a retail store that serviced one of the thoroughbred tracks. Those guys were putting 10, 12 pounds of feed to a horse a day. That's why they have ulcer problems. And they're all on ulcer medications because they feel that they need to feed that much feed for the calories. I'm not sure I'm of the same mindset as they are, but somebody has been racing or thoroughbreds for 50 years isn't necessarily going to listen to a guy that's never raced a thoroughbred, but I can fix his ulcers when he gets them. Another product that everybody in America that's owned horses have run into from time to time is colic. Whenever I was a kid, I had walking horses and I had Appaloosas. I think the Appaloosas, they came first. I think they were just something my dad got on deal at the auction. I'm not 100% sure because I still don't know why we had Appaloosas, and I got a walking horse as soon as I was old enough to afford my own horse. But we constantly were fighting. Not cause, but colic is something that occurs, and our gastromachs it's one tube. You shoot it in their mouth. Unless they have a twisted gut, the colic will go away and you'll be on your day. You're not going to be walking your horse all night long. You're not going to have to put your hand where you don't want to put your hand. It works every time when you're treating a colic horse. And that's our Gastromax.
That's awesome. So, I mean, you guys have a wide range of products. It sounds like one of the best things people can do is to just actually go onto the site and take a look around. I mean, it sounds like it's like, well, what do you need for your horse right now? What are the pain points for your horse right now? And so whenever the Chuckwagon community and the event goers are down there at Glen, Mississippi, and they walk by the Elite Nutrition tent, what's maybe the one thing that they should look at or talk about when they walk into that tent, or what can they expect?
Well, one, Galen Cooper's got to be there. And Galen's been with us. We actually just hired him in February this year. Galen's been a horse guy his whole life. His background was more in locking horses because he was also a bird dog hunter, and they used locking horses to chase after their dogs. He lives in Mississippi, so that's right down in his area. It's easy to talk to. The one thing that we do have is we have a good team. If Galen doesn't have the answer, he'll be able to get a hold of somebody on our team that does. We all work together. We don't have this guy's territory and that guy's territory, so we're going to use all of our resources to help you out the best that we can. One thing I would encourage, the products we've talked about so far are products where we're trying to treat horses with problems. In your situation, with what you guys are doing, I really highly want to encourage you guys to try our ElectroBoost tubes. Our ElectroBoost, again, it comes in a paste. You just shoot it right down the horse's throat. One dose of that ElectroBoost paste is going to be the equivalent of your horse drinking 6 gallons of water. It also is loaded with selenium, so it's going to increase that red blood cell count. And again, why that red blood cell count is important when you've got a working horse is getting more oxygen going to those muscles, helping those muscles to recover quicker and keeping that horse cool. Especially, I have a feeling the last time I was in Mississippi in the summertime, I changed underwear 3 times a day because it's a little bit muggy down there. And I'm sure that affects the horses just the same way. That ElectroBoost is an absolutely phenomenal product to keep your horses hydrated. Another product, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I think that sounds like something that would definitely be up the alley of the Chuckwagon racers as far as performance needs.
Yeah. Another product that we have is our Edge tubes. The Edge is, again, that same paste that you just shoot it down their throat, but it's going to be, the ElectroBoost is going to be for hydration and recovery and the energy. The Edge tubes are going to be more for focus. We found a lot of times horses, whenever you take them to a strange place, there's a lot going on and they have a hard time focusing on the task at hand. So that Edge, we use that for race horses coming out of the starting blocks. We'll use that for, maybe same thing for your Chuckwagon races, but it helps them deal with where they don't get distracted by all the various things going on in their world, because we're putting them through a lot whenever we go from being on pasture or in a box stall by themselves or their friends to putting them in a trailer, hauling around, and all of a sudden there's 10,000 people there watching them perform. That could be a little bit stressful on an animal. So that's what the Edge tubes are geared towards, is for focus. And then we do have one called Serenity too, which is more of a calming, because I don't have to tell you, I'm sure, but there's sometimes you have some horses that just, they're a little bit too high strung and we need to take a little bit of that out of them. And it's not going to be something that puts them to sleep. It just kind of gets rid of that anxiety, if you will.
Yeah. Can I give it to my kid? Because that would be helpful.
We do have a human line too, and it's called Calm. So yes, we do.
Okay. Well, you might have a new customer on the human line side, because that's my biggest concern lately is my 4 and 2-year-olds, and they keep me pretty high strung. But
I'm sure.
But anyways, no, that sounds. I mean, it sounds like the lineup is vast for what you guys are doing, and it sounds like the reason you're expanding and the research I've done shows that the company has been growing, And, in the 14 or 15 years you guys have been around, it sounds like you guys have really spread out across the U.S. And it sounds like there's a lot of different options for in your offering. And I'm even just talking about on your feed line, you guys have even gotten into that. So talk just briefly, just hit on what your feed line encompasses.
Yeah. So we manufacture, we do not manufacture. What we do is we have our formulas. When you're into this, where I came from with feed. One of the things to stay competitive, feed is a very freight intensive product. To ship a pallet of horse feed or a pallet of dog food 500 miles away, it's very difficult to do without buying truckloads. So what we've done is we've gone to manufacturers. We have about 15 manufacturers around the country now that are manufacturing our feed to our specifications they're the ones adding the corn, the oats, the molasses, but we're selling them the bolts, the nuts and the bolts to that formula. We're selling them the protein pellet. We're selling them our probiotic mixes, our vitamin E and selenium. We're giving them the guts to make our feed a better feed. One thing that I can tell you is in 1998, 1999, I was the largest distributor in the state of Pennsylvania and Eastern Ohio for Buckeye feeds and Kalmbach feeds at the time. And which Kalmbach feeds, for those of you that are not around here, that's your Tribute horse feed. Tribute's become a household name on the horse feed side, but many people don't know that that's Kalmbach feeds. Both good companies, but 1998, 1999, those sales reps, those nutritionists, they would come into my store. They say, you don't want to feed a feed that has rice hulls in it, soy hulls, all that stuff is a bunch of filler. You want to feed a good protein pellet with corn and oats, a little bit of molasses. That's the best thing you can do for a horse. You fast forward to 2010, those same feed reps were telling me, feed a low starch feed that's got rice hulls, soy hulls, and the whole 9 yards. And I'm like, well, what about what you told me 20 years ago or 10 years ago, And the reality is, in that 10-year period of time, we went from having zero non-GMO corn or zero GMO genetically modified corn to over 98% of our corn was being grown and genetically modified. And I am not a person to sit here and tell you that genetically modified corn is the devil and it's going to ruin society and that we're playing. That's not the case at all. But with horse feed, we are feeding them unprocessed corn. Well, I can take a GMO corn kernel and a non-GMO corn kernel and hit them both with a hammer. That GMO corn kernel is going to barely crack. It's bred to keep things out. It's bred to where Roundup doesn't affect it. It's bred to where bugs don't affect it. It's a very hard kernel. Where that non-GMO kernel, when I hit it, it turns into a powder. I can make my exact same horse feed with genetically modified grains, and it's going to test at 60% digestibility. If I make that feed with non-GMO grains, our Yoder Brothers horse feed or our Elite Supreme horse feed will test at over 98% digestibility just because of the ingredients. And that's one of the things I hear a lot in the horse feed world is, I don't want corn, I want these high starch diets. That was a creation of the big feed companies, because 20 years ago, they didn't have access to non-GMO corn. And that's something that we've always strived to. We have a good source. And now there's a lot of those feed companies that now are making non-GMO diets too. It is a deal breaker when it comes to, but again, if we come back to now where we got that texture, now we don't have a $35, $40. I don't know what you guys have to pay for horse feed out there, but for a really good quality of horse feed, some of those low starch diets are upwards of $25, $30 a bag now. You're not going to have to pay that for our horse feed, and it's still going to, it's got the probiotics in it. So you're going to get good gut health. It has digestive enzymes in it. It's got a good quality protein, fat. And what's great about our feed is everything is balanced. I can run the blood work on your horse. I promise you, our guys in the lab can tell you what you're feeding your horse based on how that blood work comes out. When you if you're feeding this product, you'll have a little squiggly line there. If you're feeding this product, you'll have a little squiggly line there. Whenever you look at our blood work, everything's balanced right down the middle. Everything's where it's supposed to be. That's because we got good absorption rates, we got good quality ingredients, and everything is getting absorbed at that horse's feet. It works phenomenally well. Now, for most of your guys in Mississippi, we can have a conversation, but at this point in time, I do not have a manufacturer down there yet. That doesn't mean that I'm not opposed to it, but the products are a lot more easy to ship than the feed is.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And oddly enough, in the last year, I've actually worked with multiple different food ingredient manufacturers and distributors, just oddly enough. And even there's a feed mill for one of our clients that's right there in Lockwood, Missouri, called Arrowhead Milling. And, I've gotten to kind of see the process of them putting ingredients together and create feed, which has been really just kind of crazy. At the last year of my life, I've really gotten to see more of that stuff. But no, I mean, you had me when you said Amish. I mean, you said Amish. I'm like, okay, well, I just know it's going to be legit now because the Amish have a very good reputation.
Different part in the world. If I go with the eventers, you know who the eventers are?
The
eventing people, the ones that do the cross. They got all their horses imported from overseas, and they wear their little tights, and Rolex and Land Rover sponsor their events.
I don't, but Venom.
Anyhow, that crowd, they look at the Amish, oh, they're the Amish. Whereas most of the Western crowd, they recognize the fact that if they want a good mule or a good standardbred, they're going to go to the Amish communities because those guys flat out know what they're doing.
Oh yeah, yeah. They keep it pretty clean and they work hard. I mean, just this last wagon race that I went to up in Indiana, which is the one, you're talking about Indiana, and you guys have a lot of stuff that kind of seems to source out of there. First of all, there's a lot of
our warehouse, like our manufacturing in southern Indiana, and the therapy barn and the training center in northern Indiana.
Yeah, I mean agriculture is like the main thing in that state, and there are a lot of Amish, and when you just drive through Indiana, you kind of just get this feeling of it's like wholesome up there, and the Amish are very, very prevalent where we were at, and man, you just see what their kids look like. First, the kids all look healthy. Second of all, the animals. I mean, my gosh, like you see the way that their horses are moving around. They're just beautiful animals, and they know what they're doing with animals. And I would assume that probably goes back to the feeding, but yeah, I mean, it all makes sense to me. And
they typically do not have yard ornaments. If they have a horse, it has a purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, they all have a job for sure, and those kids, man, they know what they're doing from a very young age because they're using the animals and they're working with the animals and they're working with the crops and the ingredients that they're feeding them. So yeah, you're kind of speaking to my heart a little bit there. But yeah, I mean, as we go into these next couple of events that are ahead of us, it's good to know we're going to see you guys not only at Glen, Mississippi, but we're going to see you down there at the national championships. And so, I highly recommend that you go and you check out what these guys have to offer in their tents. I'm going to guess that the sales rep that we'll speak to in the tent will be able to speak really directly to whatever the need is, whatever the pain point is that that maybe you're facing right now, and even knowing that
we didn't even get into our joint products, and I mean, there's just so much that we do have. So yeah, definitely go down and see Galen, and then the other thing too is if you go to our website is tryelitenutrition.com.
TRY Elite Nutrition.
ELiteNutrition.com. There is all up there. You can also go to our dealer locator to find a dealer near you. But if there isn't a dealer near you, it will list all of our online retailers as well. But for the sake of this podcast, one of my online retailers, we're going to do a discount code for you guys that are listening to this podcast. So the website is shopeeliteglobal.com. So the word shop and then eliteglobal.com. Anything that you guys purchase from there from Thursday the 31st through August the 31st, you'll get 10% discount on. And the code you want to use is CWC10 to get that discount.
Right on. Okay. Yeah, we'll make sure we get that up on the screen. We'll make sure we get that into the description for the show below, and we'll follow that link that you've given us to shopeeliteglobal.com.
Yes, sir. And then if you guys have questions too, let me give you my phone number. Feel free to contact me anytime. If it's in the middle of the night, I'm just not going to answer, and I'll call you back tomorrow morning. But you're not going to wake me up if you shoot me a text, Facebook Messenger, phone call, whatever. But my phone number is 412-596-0264. Again, that's 412-596-0264. If you're trying to find me on Messenger, type in my name, Chip Kohser, CHIP. Kohser is KOHSER. There's only two of us in the world, me and my dad. I'm the one sitting there with a bird dog and a pheasant, and my dad's sitting on a tractor. So that way you know which one of us to pick.
It's awesome. Okay. Well, that's really good information. We know how to contact you. We know where to go, and we know how to save some money. Chip, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thanks for talking to us. Thanks for telling us about the products that you guys carry. It is important that we think about sustenance, that we think about the performance of these horses, and even what I was reading about some of the human line products that you guys have. I think it's all really interesting. I think if people just go and scratch the surface by even just going to you guys' website, I think that people are going to start getting a lot of good information quickly. So, if nothing else, we've got sales reps at the next two big events that we're going to be going to for Chuckwagon racing. So I would encourage everybody, please get over to the Elite Nutrition tent and say hi to those guys. Talk to Galen. And
Galen's going to be at the one in Mississippi this week. And then Donna Miller, who she's actually been with the company for, oh, good God, going on 10, 12 years now, probably. I mean, she's the sister of our nutritionist. So she's been there almost from the inception. She knows her products well. She's all excited. She's going to the one down there in Arkansas, the championship. So she's going to be down there that week. So go and see her.
Well, she'll see plenty of foot traffic on Vendor Row at Clinton. And there will be about 5,000 to 6,000 horses out there that are serviceable and ready to go. And with the way the heat's going to be this year, I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of those particular products are a little bit more desirable than others, just because there is plenty going on that week and there's plenty of heat. So, but yeah, again,
that's at Labor Day. If I'm not mistaken, it's the weekend before Labor Day, right?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty warm. And like I said, Arkansas and Missouri, they're warm to me pretty much from June on. So I'm sure if you're warm in August.
Yeah, no, it is a hot time of year. And that week in particular is usually either the hottest week of the year or it's right when the fever just finally starts to break on the summertime. And so I always I look at that week as like, man, when you get past that week, you get a big breather one way or another. But yeah, it's going to be plenty of time for us to get a little bit of exposure to the Elite Nutrition products, the whole line. Hopefully you guys as salespeople get a really good experience out of going to these races, and we start to see you guys at more of these. Cause, one thing we haven't gotten to do a whole lot of on this show is really shed more light on nutrition and products like that we could be introducing to these animals that may be super helpful and super thoughtful. And it sounds like the backing of everything that you guys have, it's, you don't have to look very far to see really, really good reports, really, really good, testimonials that I've seen in some places, just good reports on everything that people have been using. And it sounds like it's working because you guys continue to expand what you're doing. You're finding more of those pain points in the industry, and you're finding the answer to those problems. So it's really cool.
Big thing we're looking to do is we're trying to fix the problem instead of just changing parts. There's a lot of companies out there that, and even pharmaceuticals, that will mask. They'll treat a symptom, but they're never really getting to the root cause. And ultimately, what we want to do is we want to get to the root cause of the problem. So I want you to be a customer forever and ever and ever, but I don't want you to be the customer on the same product over and over and over and over again. If you got a sick horse, I want to fix the horse so we can move on and get you into some of our performance products or our maintenance products, not necessarily tell you got to give your horse this for the rest of its life type of thing.
Right. Well, from what I can see, there is like a solution for everything when you start looking through these products, and it's pretty fun to kind of look on the site because there's so many different things that you guys tend to cater to. So, right on.
Are you able to, that catalog link that I sent you earlier today, would you be able to put that into the feed as well for the listeners to pull up the catalog?
Is that ideal? Was it like, as far as like,
that catalog has a lot more information on the website because it actually has the diagnostic part in the back. Like if you have a horse that's got just say a bowed tendon, it's going to tell you what to treat that bowed tendon with. Like in the front of the book it reads like a brochure, but in the back of the book, once you get to page 41, it actually gets into the diagnose, like if I have this is what I use type of thing, and what the dosing is and everything else like that. I think that will be handy for somebody that trying to it's difficult to diagnose a phone or a horse over a phone call or the internet or whatever, whereas that really gets down and dirty and helping that person figure out what might be going on with the horse.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really
than our website.
I think that's a super valuable resource. Is to actually we'll put the link in the description below for you to go and look at this actual catalog. And if you catch about the back quarter of this book is going to actually start hitting on, hey, what's the problem? What's the condition? And then it's going to tell you what are the products that maybe you can go and look at these products to help that. It will show you what page the product is on, how to use it. And then if you want to take that next step to trying one of these products out, then go on the website, get in touch with the dealer. And, and like Chip's saying here, this isn't like a thing where they're direct selling right now. Like you can go in there, they are trying to push this through the different outlets that they have, through their vendors, through their dealers, throughout the country. And so yeah, I think this is great. This is really helpful, kind of looking through this catalog. So I highly recommend even just go peruse this and like, man, what if I had this problem with my horse one time? What if I just, what if I have dry or inflamed joints? And it just talks about the EnduraFlex Plus, the product, and then where you can find it and how much you need to give your animal. So no, that's great. I think this is a really good resource, as good as anything, honestly, for somebody to go look at right now. Because as these people are as the wagon racers are, going through and journeying through their season, there's so many things that you come up on, especially like you said, when you're traveling and you've got, maybe an unhealthy gut, maybe it's something that they ate, maybe they have an injury, or maybe it is blood flow. Maybe it's just that
they're neither with some injuries. They could be complicated because you got to figure out, is it a joint? Is it a muscle? Is it a ligament, a tendon? Because there's going to be a different product that treats each of those body parts, if you will, differently. And it is somewhat challenging, and we've all gotten pretty good at Elite of doing that diagnostic over the phone, but there's nothing like putting hands on a horse either.
Yeah, no, I totally understand where you're coming from there. And I guess if you guys have nothing else to do, we've got a phone number here that we're going to link in there too for Chip. So
yeah, we've got it. I'm sincere. You can call me anytime. Like I said, I'm not going to change my life to take your phone call in the middle of the night, but I will get back to you within 24 hours. I promise you that.
That's awesome. Well, Chip, we appreciate you coming on the show today. We're going to go ahead and shut it down here because I know that we've got to keep moving, but we really appreciate you coming on and talking and explaining to us what you guys are about and what you're doing. And, the well just goes so deep. And so I think the best thing I can really recommend people do is, click on the link and look at this catalog, because it's really useful. And then beyond that, we have all the different avenues that we can get in touch with you. And to reiterate, shopeliteglobal.com, which we will have that linked below. And you can get 10% off if you go in there and you use the promo code CWC10. That's CWC10. Take 10% off whenever you order there. So, Chip, thank you so much for being on. All you need to do is go ahead and hit hang up when you're ready, and then we're going to take it from there and close this thing down.
All right. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it very much, and thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon. That's cool. Chip knows his stuff, and they definitely have got a broad offering of stuff. I mean, it's really crazy when you start looking through the catalog. Actually, I like the catalog a lot better than I like the website, because it's you're not having to click through a bunch of stuff. You can actually just get straight down to the wire of like, okay, what am I looking for? It's right here on a page, and you can look it up. And it's really clean. They did a great job with this catalog. So we'll link that below too. But yeah, I know that we've gotten pretty long on the show here, so let's go ahead and push into what we want to do. Is we want to get through the lineups of this weekend's race. So we're just going to zip through these. Keep in mind, as we read through these are tentative, and some stuff could still change. But high level here, they are going to show a clinic. Like, they're going to actually show what wagon racing is. They're going to explain that a little bit more hands-on prior to the races starting, which I think is cool. Hopefully we'll be able to show that post-race. And then they're going to go land rush, 4-up 52, 4-up big mules, big horse rubber tire, 46 mules, 46 ponies, clinic number 2. Not sure what that's going to be. 52-inch mules, 52-inch ponies, buckboard, big mules, youth, and classic. And so they have quite the agenda for this race. And so I'm just going to get right into it. For land rush, they've got Say Win and Bar 20 and a little bit of B&B, and they're going to have that all in one heat. So we're going to get to see some 3 wide there. And I'll just read by page here. 4-up 52-inch mules, Trump Train taking on Where's Robbie. Heat 2 is Pitchin' a Fit taking on Runnin' Blind. 4-up big mules, Heat 1, we've got Trump Train and Ain't Skeered. And then we're going to throw down some big horse rubber tire. Heat 1, Haywire versus BS Racing. Heat 2, Trump Train versus Pitchin' a Fit. And Heat 3 is just a buy run with Ain't Skeered. I'm going to let you run with it on page 2 here.
All right, so we've got 46-inch mules. Heat number 1, Trump Train against TNT Reloaded. Heat number 2 is going to be Where's Robbie against Ain't Skeered. And then 46-inch ponies, we've actually got 7 heats here, which I'm excited to see for a further away first-time race. Heat number 1, Freight Train against Hell's Bells Hot Flash. Heat number 2 is going to be Stampede against the Wild Ones. Heat number 3 is Going Nuts against Say Win. Heat number 4 is Split Decision against Western Junkies. Heat number 5 is Derek Hands against the Outlaws. Heat number 6 is the Big Aces against Bad Luck and Trouble. And then heat number 7 is Bent Shake Ranch against Panty Droppers, which I don't think I've seen Panty Droppers since Tuscumbia. And that was my first time seeing them.
And
quite the interesting banner.
Big Aces sounds new. Bad Luck and Trouble sounds new.
I've heard of Big Aces at least once before. They were at Camden. Was it Bakerspain? Maybe both.
Okay. All right, here we go. 52-inch mules. We got 3 heats here. Trump Train taking on Fashionably Late. Heat 2, Bar LL taking on Pitchin' a Fit. Heat 3, Bad and Bougie takes BS Racing. 52-inch ponies. 5 heats here. Heat 1, Full Throttle versus Derek Hands. Good to see Full Throttle making their way over there. Heat 2, Outlaws versus Triple J. Heat 3, Running Blind and Bumblebees. Heat 4, Freight Train and Whatcha No Good. Whatcha No Good. Heat 5, Piney Creek Express on a buy run.
All right, and in buckboard, we've got heat number 1, Triple J against B&B Farms. Heat number 2 is Bar H Ranch and Rodeo against Rolling F. That's going to be a good heat to watch. Trump Train against Crossroads Express for heat number 3. And then Heat 4 is going to be Full Throttle against B&B Farms number 2. Moving on into Big Mules, we've got Heat number 1, Going Nuts against Running Blind. Heat number 2 is Bargy Chicken Ranch against Sue's Pawn. Heat number 3 is Gunner Strong against the Outlaws. And heat number 4 is Bama Mule Skinners against Total Chaos.
Awesome. And then we're going to get into the youth here. We got the Pee Wee Ponies 12 and under. Heat 1 is Freight Train with Timber May Tuttle. Heat 2, Ain't Scared, Clay Myatt. Heat 3, Bentshank Ranch, Riley Pillow. Heat 4, Derek Hands, Ellison Whitworth. Heat 5, Hell's Bells, Hot Flash, Jace Howard. Heat 6, Going Nuts, Levi Lehman. Heat 7, Ain't Scared, it's Corbin Myatt. Heat 8, Bar D Chicken Ranch is Josie Day. And Heat 9, a little bit of B&B with Lily Howard. And then we're going to get into the Pee Wee Mules 12 and under. 2 heats here. We got Running Blind, Ryder Rakes, Straw. And Heat 2 is Trump Train, Riley Pillow. The juniors, 18 and under. They're kind of doing a little different here. They got Heat 1, Ain't Scared. Heat 2, Running Crazy. Heat 3, Split Decision. And from what I understand on those juniors, 18 under, they're going to actually run a full race team. And so that'll be kind of neat to see. It'll be just a little bit dumbed down, so it's a little bit safer. Obviously, we just got one team per heat there, but it's going to be good to see the youth out there running a full heat. In the Classic, to wrap it up here, Heat 1, Haywire taking on Freight Train. Heat 2, Trump Train taking on BS Racing. Heat 3, Dizzy D making their way out there all the way from Caney, Kansas, taking on B&B Farms number 2, and that'll be a good heat. And Heat 4 is a Byron for Lucky G. Man, I am just blown away by the lineups for this first time race. That is an outlaw race. We got a drive to make in a couple days here, and it sounds like a lot of people are making that drive. So cool. I can say on behalf of Trent Little and Reggie Little, the tribute event that we are going to, thank you all for signing up and supporting this first time event. That is what it's all about, and I am excited about that. I'm excited to get out there, and we're going to close it down. Make sure you guys go and check out Elite Nutrition. Check out the description below. Don't forget, Selection Sunday for Clinton is Sunday, the 17th of August, 6 p.m. Central Time. Not your time, Gerald Burkhalter. It'll be 6 p.m. our time. And so make sure you subscribe, relive the ride at chuckwagonchannel.com, and have a wonderful week.
Thanks for listening to the CWC Podcast.